and the pictures from a day we'll never forget.
The proceeds from the sale of this tape will benefit the Disaster Relief Fund of the local American Red Cross chapter. And this tape is dedicated to those victims of the twister of '99.
It was like driving through a big white cloud, riding it down. Next thing I know, my truck stops and I'm upside down.
Okay, where are you at, man?
This is the Blue Ash area right now. Industrial park, just off of going through subdivisions. The emergency crews are just all over. This area,
The door saved his life. He would have been crushed. He was sitting playing with some toys.
From 9 News, this is a weather special report.
Now there's the Wilmington NEXRAD site. We now have a tornado warning for Hamilton County. Until 5:55. Let me take this off the wire. The tornado warning is in effect for Hamilton County now until 5:55. At 4:50, weather spotters indicated a tornado 17 miles west of Cincinnati, or about 6 miles southeast of Hooven, moving to the east at 35 miles an hour. Again, a tornado is on the ground. Go to the basement. If a basement's not available, go to a small interior room on the lowest floor. I want to show everyone this tornado, exactly what area that we're referring to. Again, it's in this section right here of Hamilton County. It is moving off to the east at about 35 miles an hour. Some areas that are going to be affected by this tornado that is on the ground. Again, this is not a Doppler radar indicated tornado, but it is a tornado that is on the ground. Spotter reports in Dearborn County indicate tornado damage in the Aurora area. Large trees and a barn have been reported blown down. Now again, this is a very dangerous situation. Go to your basement. Please seek shelter immediately from these thunderstorms that are moving across the area. Again, right now, I'm going to zoom into this one spot. This is Hamilton County that we're zooming in on. We now have sirens being reported going off in Hamilton County. You see right around Cleves, Addiston, Miamitown, Cheviot. You can see the red area right through there. This is the system that we're referring to. We're getting another alarm sounding right now. Again, this is in Hamilton County. Weather spotters have indicated a tornado about 17 miles west of Cincinnati, or about 6 miles southwest of Hooven. We'll zoom in just a little bit more and I'll give you some street names that I'm referring to. Right around Blue Rock Road, Lockwood Hill Road, Dry Ridge Road. If you live anywhere near these roads, if they sound familiar to you, go to your basement. Day Road, Owl Creek Road, Brem Road, Thompson Road. We've had some very damaging winds in addition to the tornado that has been reported on the ground in Hamilton County. We've had damaging winds. We have also had reports of very large hail. In addition to that, some very heavy downpours. Fairly unusual for a tornado to take place at this time of the day. Again, I mentioned that we did have some reports of large trees. Barns have been reported blown down across Dearborn County. And I know you hear us say quite often that tornadoes have been reported by Doppler radar. This is different. We have had an actual eyewitness. Several National Weather Service radar spotters have indicated that they have picked up this tornado on the ground. And again, we're talking in northern Hamilton County. You can see 275, of course, running in this area right through here. We have Interstate 74, we have Interstate 75 right here, and right in between those two, we're looking at a tornado moving off to the east at about 35 miles an hour. It has been reported on the ground. We have had that confirmed by the National Weather Service. Our Doppler radar, of course, has indicated that as well. But again, you can see this system, just the northern section of 275, just outside of Forest Park right now, just to the south of 275. If you hear something that sounds like a freight train or a very loud truck, it's probably best to just get into your basement, grab the family, the kids, the dog, whatever you have to do as quickly as possible. Don't worry about opening up the windows. Too many people get hurt by flying glass. Just in the basement as quickly as you possibly can. Talking about northern Hamilton County, possibly near the Loveland area. That's northern Claremont, southern Warren, northeastern Hamilton County, southern Warren County, as well as I've just mentioned, around Winton Road, West Sharon Road, Springdale Road, Lake Ridge Drive. If any of these streets sound familiar to you at all, please get into your basement. You can probably hear these things coming just to the south of Green Hills. We're talking northern Hamilton County. Possible tornadoes still on the ground in northern Hamilton County. And it looks like it's going to be moving into southern Butler County, also possibly into Warren County, in the eastern portion of Hamilton County. Loveland, you could be affected by this strong thunderstorm with an embedded tornado as well. Please seek shelter immediately. That's East Sharon Road, Orchard Street, Weiss Carver Road. Moving a little bit toward the Blue Ash area. These are the towns that are going to be affected by this possible tornado that is on the ground. Again, eyewitnesses have reported from the National Weather Service that it has been spotted on the ground. It's in northern Hamilton County right now. And you can see that this area that I'm referring to right here, that's Hamilton County, Warren County, Claremont County. It's those 4 county areas right there, Butler County as well. That's the area of concern. This system is moving in your direction. It will continue to move off to the east at about 35 miles an hour. Right now, this system seems to be in between 275, 75, and 71. This area right through here, right around Westchester, Mason, Loveland, Sharonville. I can't say this enough. If you live anywhere near this area right now, go to your basement immediately. It's around the 275, 75, 71 interchange.
As a matter of fact, of course, it's still dark down here, but the rain has completely stopped, and it's been a really very quiet. So I guess the majority of the storm and tornado activity has passed this area. Right now I'm standing right down in the heart of Main Street, right across the street, right in the debris of where this tornado went through. And the house was completely destroyed, as was a vehicle sitting out front of it. And there's debris all over the road. Now I'm standing across the street with a neighbor. And Buzz, you're known here in Addison as Buzz. Tell me what you saw.
Well, I saw it come right straight across the river and tore this house completely apart.
We do have one house completely destroyed. It's Anthony Hawkins' home, and I found Anthony, and thank goodness he and his family are all okay, but for a while, Anthony was quite concerned about finding the rest of his family. Anthony, describe to me what you saw and heard.
Well, it was the lightning and stuff, and it got intense for a few minutes, and then I did my morning routine, which was normally pray, and when I got through praying, it was just like the house just starts disintegrating, and I don't know. It was just unnerving to have a house around you one minute and then turn around and there's nothing there.
It's 6:13 now, and we want to get another check on the severe weather.
You've been watching it all night long.
That's right. Pete Delkus has been here all through the night, and I joined him earlier this morning with the severe thunderstorms moving through the area and possible tornadoes. We have lots of damage reports. I'm just going to give you basically where we're getting reports of the worst damage, and it appears to have happened in the I-71 and 275 area. We have reports of several roofs off condos in the Cornell Road area. Lots of roof damage there. Also, we're being told by emergency crews that there is a lot more damage in this general area and also around Harper's Point. There's a shopping center there, Bill.
Yeah.
And around that shopping center, we apparently have some significant damage.
Scott, are you still with us?
Yeah, I am, Pete. I'm moving over to an emergency unit. I'm at the 126 where the UDF is, and there's a paramedic going through this intersection, but all the lights are out here.
The signs that would tell you you're heading toward 275 have just been ripped.
So Dave, let me understand you correctly. You're on Interstate 71 and you're telling me there's a tree, part of a tree at least, in the interstate?
It's actually, I think they've moved it to the median, but you can kind of see where there's a number of trees down, and there's the poles that hold the signs over the highways are bent, and it just looks like total chaos up here. But southbound 71, there's a semi that is overturned.
Both pumps are gone at a Sunoco, and I can see them. They're gone completely at this Sunoco at the corner of Pfeiffer and Kenwood. This whole Kenwood is shut down here, and I can tell you telephone poles, big 60-foot telephone poles are leaning to the sides. There's a tree that's burning with power lines on it. All these people are outside their homes. They said that they just heard things, and it just moved here quickly.
Mainly, I kind of woke up to our house shaking. Trees are leveled all the way across our backyard.
The sun's starting to come up, and I think it's safest, it's smartest to just stay at home. You can hear in the background there on that phone call that we just had, you can hear the emergency vehicles out there. Power lines are down.
Lauren, where are you exactly, and what do you see?
I'm right across from Sycamore High School, right on Cornell Road, and just all around me there are houses without roofs. There's some that are completely leveled to the ground. I'm standing right by a house right now where I believe there are still people trapped inside. There are emergency workers in there right now trying to get them out. So there's a lot of people standing around. There are just trees and cars in the middle of the road.
Is the power out there, Lauren?
Yeah, there's no power, no phones, nothing. Just everything's a mess. And one man I was just talking to was just crying and saying that he lost 40 years of memories in his house, and he was going out to be with his wife, who was all scratched up because she was trapped in their bedroom for a few minutes until she got out.
I saw no less than 25, 30 police, fire, ambulances moving about, and police cars stopping to one intersection, looking around, and then whizzing off with their sirens on to go to some other one, trying to figure out where the worst situation was. And I could see units from lots of municipalities coming in to help the Sycamore Township area.
I think if we roll some of the tape, we can see some of the damage. We do have one mobile home. Actually, it's a mobile home with a basement attached to it. It was completely destroyed. This is Anthony Hawkins' home, and he and his family were able to get out of there. As you can see, I don't know how they made it out of there, but apparently this tornado came across the river and it hit their home and then jumped up over the hill. So the rest of the village was saved from a lot of damage.
And I'm actually at the back of Cornell Road, and they've got about, I'd say, a dozen fire divisions out here, and they've got all of Cornell Road shut down because there's power lines. I can see the back of Sycamore High School, which I usually can't see because everything's been cleared. There's houses that have been leveled, and it's amazing, just the damage. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Renee, are there a lot of people out? Do you see a lot of emergency crews? Anybody injured that you can see?
We have one lady on my street that is literally trapped in her house because the carport is blown up against the condo, and the paramedics have told her to stay put because there are live wires that are going to need someone to come out here and move them. And the houses behind me, they said, are leveled, and some people are trapped inside. And there is rumor that there is a fatality.
It has been a long, stormy morning in many parts of town. We understand one person may have been killed in this storm out in Montgomery, several injuries, and quite a bit of damage.
We're still waiting for full confirmation of all those details. But let's find out about your current weather forecast, what happened overnight. Chief Meteorologist Pete Delkus has been here all night long, and he's got the details for us. Pete?
Well, Bill, one thing that we do need to mention immediately here, people are waking up and they're tuning in. This is a tornado that has been reported in several different spots across the tri-state. The folks from Cincinnati just tell us that over 200,000 people are without power. This is one of the worst storms in over a decade.
I don't know if you can hear in the background numerous sirens. That's all you hear up here. I've driven a quarter of a mile, probably 7, 8 police cars, paramedic units. There are rescue vehicles passing me by, and all the intersections basically without lights. I drove over the railroad crossing, which goes across Pfeiffer Road there, and the railroad crossing, the actual railroad signs and the gates that come down snap in half. Numerous power lines are snapped. There's debris on the roadway.
It looks like the tornado actually touched down close to Blue Ash initially and maybe skipped across, but this area you're looking at right now, I mean, it's just totally destroyed. This tornado was on the ground. It looks like it's about a half mile wide, and then it goes on up for about 2 miles long. So the tornado was on the ground most of the time right in here.
My goodness, that house is just completely flattened.
And we're seeing it's the majority of the homes in this path are like that right now, Pete.
And you're up in the Blue Ash area?
Yeah, actually right now we're at 275, just right to the west of Montgomery Road. This is still, I guess, considered part of Blue Ash, but we're about right now 2 miles from the Blue Ash Airport, just over 275.
Okay.
from 3 miles back, we could see nothing but emergency lights, and we just homed in on that. And as you can see, this is what we ran across. I mean, this is just destruction that's unbelievable for about a 2-mile stretch, 3-mile stretch right now, from Blue Ash Airport up towards, actually almost up to Mason.
Dale, we see right now a lot of emergency crews, a lot of people milling around. Are you getting the sense there that folks are all out of their homes now?
It does look, there's a lot of people roaming around. There's a lot of people in parking lots standing around. You can see this picture Rich is shooting right now in the intersection. Of course, these people really don't have any place to go right now because their homes are totally leveled. We're not sure on the injuries, but I do know there's I think all the ambulances are out here right now. There are just ambulances all over, fire departments. There's a few semi-trucks on the interstate that are slid over onto the side. This is the truck I was talking about. I don't know whether he slid off or whether the wind pushed him off, but there's several cars in the ditch. I see a truck on up. If we can get Rich to pan on up, and to the left there just a little bit, there's a truck rolled over in the ditch. That's obviously a high wind tornado or whatever, and that's right in the path of the tornado. So we don't know on injuries on that, but there are crews down there. There are several cars slid off to the side, and I believe one of them's got a sheet over it. 2 cars off the right side of the interstate. It doesn't look good there, but the vehicles scattered around like they're toys.
I-275 is a major problem. It's closed now at I-71, both directions, not only due to the backed up traffic, but apparently there are wires down in the road. That's a danger they want to clear before they let what looks like 2, 3, maybe more miles of backed up traffic through that area. And of course, they've got the accidents, the overturned trucks to clean up as well.
And this is beyond, just beyond the point where it appears that the tornado was on the ground, and it was on the ground very solid at this point.
All right, Dale, while you are in the air, Dave Roberts is on the ground in that same area. Dave, what can you tell us that you're seeing?
The problem they're having is that lots of people are milling around in the front of their homes. They have no power, so they're all coming out for the first time trying to figure out what's going on. And there's power lines down in a lot of places. I saw in one particular case a tree on fire. There's nothing they really could do about it because there's just so much going on at this point. But there was a tree on fire because of power lines leaning into the tree, and there's power lines down in front of several homes. I'm over by Ken Ridge Road and Kenwood Road, working my way northbound to Cornell. So the police are asking, obviously a lot of our viewers don't have power that are in this situation, but the police are asking that you just stay away from the area, and especially if you see anything near down power lines, to just avoid that altogether. It's a very dangerous situation.
Dave and Dale, let me hold you for just a second. We've just gotten information from the police department. Apparently, there is now confirmation about this tornado in the Blue Ash, Montgomery area. 3 fatalities, repeating, 3 fatalities from a pre-dawn tornado that struck the Blue Ash, Montgomery area. And it's going to take time to bring all the reports in, figure out who is where, and make sure that we're not duplicating information. But again, the headline of the hour at 7:20, 3 fatalities in the Blue Ash, Montgomery area. This happens to be the Harper's Point shopping area, and that's relatively new, only open in the last few years, I understand. And you can kind of see the damage that this tornado, high wind situation really reeked through this area, with entire neighborhoods devastated. Even brick homes. This looks like a brick church here that sustained major damage to at least a portion.
And as Rich pans down, the tornado is still really strong in this area and still on the ground, definitely. Several apartment complexes here, obviously just totally destroyed. There's not a whole lot left there. I'm not sure whether that was a business or apartment complex, but the apartment complex just to the right, if we get Rich pan just to the right, this is just north of that. The roofs of the apartment complex is gone. In some situations, you can see on the top of your screen right there, the whole side of the apartment complex was opened up. I mean, it's just amazing that there weren't more fatalities than this. This whole apartment complex area right here, fortunately, it was made of brick, apparently. That's all that kept these things standing, because everything else in the area is totally level. Houses are cut in half. I mean, from the brick portion of the homes up are gone. the apartment complexes. Every debris just scattered all over right now.
And the storm did rip through the Addiston area this morning. Now, our chick Poppy spoke with a witness this morning about that.
It was a tornado. It wasn't no high winds.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I was standing right there.
And describe what you saw.
Well, I just saw the funnel. You can just see it. Just come right straight across here, and debris, everything was coming this way.
Yeah.
Everything. I know I don't want to witness anything like that again.
Now, this is the Addiston area. This is in the southern portion of Hamilton County. Obviously, where Dale is in the northern portion of Hamilton County. But you can see the emergency vehicles right there. A young lady hurt her hand trying to get out of her building this morning. So they've had a lot of damage there. That's just southwest of the city. A lot of damage southwest of the city, in addition to the damage that you just saw there with Dale Williams and Chopper 9.
It's amazing from up here that you can actually see where this tornado touched the ground, at what points it was on the ground, what points it came back up and just took roofs off. Where we're at right now, I mean, it obviously touched the ground. It leveled homes, apartments, shopping malls, anything in its way is gone. It looks like it's topped out a lot of these trees here. A lot of them are probably cut off about 20 feet off the ground. I mean, it looks like somebody took a large lawnmower and just mowed a strip from Blue Ash Airport up towards Fields Erdel area.
Yeah, Dale, it's just incredible, the pictures that you're showing here, and it's at 7:33 right now. I just want to give everyone a quick recap. If you're just waking up, here's exactly what's taken place overnight. We had a very strong line of thunderstorms move into the Tri-State late last night during the overnight time. We had been keeping an eye on them all night.
Right now we're about 23 minutes before 8 o'clock in the morning. You're seeing live pictures of Chopper 9 of devastated area in the Blue Ash, Montgomery area. An overnight tornado causing lots and lots of damage, leveling many buildings.
Is that Harper's Point right there, that water main break?
Yes, Pete.
And that's the Baptist
Church? That's not a fountain
Church?
either. That is a water main break.
That's a water main break.
That's,
and that's
the rear end of the department store, it appears. You can see we're looking at the back of the plaza.
And that's that Baptist church that's up there. I'm pretty familiar with that area. And I know that's at Harper's Point. You've mentioned before. There's the Baptist church, right, Dale?
Right, exactly. And it just took one wing of it and just totally removed it.
This is a 9 News special report.
Good morning and welcome back to Channel 9's continuing coverage of the tornado that has hit the northeastern part of the Tri-State area.
Right now, this is just south of 275, just right beside Sycamore High School, the homes right here. This appears to be the hardest hit area right in here. The tornado definitely on the ground at this point. And from here, it went about 2 miles on the ground, kind of hit and skip type patterns.
Look at those trees. Do you see how they're cut off? The tops are cut off?
Now, the pattern, do they all seem to be blown in one particular direction, or is there a little twist there? And is that an indication that a tornado went through rather than straight line winds from the storm itself?
That's a very good point. And it's hard to see looking at it kind of from the side like we're doing. If you're looking straight down,
it looks like the debris pattern is blown out directly from the house, like a target
and
almost.
If the debris pattern is like a clock, circular, that would indicate that a tornado came through there, obviously, with those winds circulating around the center of that. The nice thing about a city like Cincinnati is people are really going to come together. They're going to come together. You've already heard that the police departments from the different areas are coming together, the fire departments, everyone's going to get together and help each other out. And that's what's nice about living in the Midwest.
Well, that's what's nice about living in Cincinnati. Okay, we're going to go now to Bob Holtzman, who's up in the Montgomery Blue Ash area, specifically around Harper's Point. When we last talked with you, Bob, tell us a little more about what's going on there. Are there disaster personnel getting in there and helping out, or is it relatively quiet while everyone's still assessing?
Oh, Randy, actually the disaster personnel are the only people getting in here at this point. You can maybe able to hear a siren here behind me. Right now is just firefighters, police rescue crews. That's about it. They have all the roads blocked off. There is no traffic going one way or the other. And we've shown you all those aerial pictures from Chopper 9 of Harper's Point. But let me give you an idea here on the ground what it looks like. We're in front of the Montgomery Baptist Church. And you can see behind me, this is a 3-year-old all-purpose room, a gymnasium. You can see the basketball hoop there. The roof was entirely blown off. heavy damage here at the church, as well as at a number of homes here in the area, a number of businesses here in the area. This is obviously where the center of this tornado probably went through about 4 hours ago this morning. And we're joined now by Debbie Hankins, who's the associate pastor. Thank you, I'm losing my mind. Associate pastor here at the church. And I want to know, again, this is almost brand new. And how are you guys doing today dealing with this?
Well, we're pretty upset. We just moved into the sanctuary December 13th, and so when we heard that the church was damaged, the first thing we wanted to come over and see was what happened. But the activity center is destroyed, but the sanctuary looks like it's okay, and the preschool rooms below it are completely destroyed. But it looks like, I mean, if we were going to lose anything, the gym and the classrooms are the easiest things to replace. Our biggest issue was just that, thinking of what might have been. I mean, 3 hours later, if this had come through, our kids would have been down there.
Bob, are you back on the line here? Can we go to you?
Yeah, Randy, we're here. Just wanted to give you an idea. We showed you that live picture of the mall, and that's where we are right now. We'll give you an idea just to show you. We already showed you the church and the damage there. We showed you from Chopper 9 the aerial view of some of the damage of the homes. Now we can show you the damage here at this mall. Again, this is Harper's Point. You can see here the Donato's Pizza, completely roof caved in, an air conditioning duct on the top that's about ready to fall. I mean, this place is destroyed. As we pan on over, you can see other places, the factory card outlet. There's debris all across the parking lot. Again, Pete Delkus was talking about the Capitol cleaners. You can see that right there. That, if we took you around the other side, which we can do later on today, we'll show you that entire front section is all blown out. The windows are completely gone. They're shattered all across the parking lot. Again, Deshays, I don't know if you can see real closely there, but there's a power line right in front of Deshays that is completely almost sideways, I mean almost parallel to the ground. So again, everything shut down here, and for good reason. There's debris all across the parking lot, damage all throughout the mall, damage throughout the church, and a big mess in Harper's Point. Randy, back to you.
These are some of the pictures from Addiston now. This particular area is Main Street in Addiston, where the cleanup has started, starting to clear the damage already. We understand in Addiston there was one home, the family was in the home in Addiston. Anthony Hawkins owns that home, and
he was just happy to get the kids out, he was telling us earlier this morning.
He says the family escaped with very little to no injuries. Emergency crews got out quickly to assess the damage and to help people. Here at the Montgomery Safety Building, police and fire officials began organizing immediately. Police confirmed 20 injuries, 25 homes destroyed. The urban search and rescue teams going house to house searching for any possible victims. Police say that surrounding agencies responded quickly to help all the victims in their city.
The plan worked the way it's supposed to. A lot of folks are on the scene helping us, rendering aid to the victims. The next few days should be pretty long and tedious for all the emergency services personnel, but right now I think we're in relatively good shape.
The headline on the newspaper says it all. Killer storm stuns the county, and it's not only Hamilton County, it's stunned areas in southeast Indiana as well.
The new thing we have for you right now is we're just back from a neighborhood which is just about a block or two from here. And these are the first pictures we've seen on the ground in that neighborhood of Harper's Point. And I can tell you that almost every single home in that neighborhood has at least some damage. Some is very light, some moderate, some homes very heavily damaged. That area right now is in the process of being evacuated for the most part. There are officials in there making sure everybody is safe, getting an assessment of the damage, and talking to people about what happened this morning, as we did just a minute ago.
All of a sudden it got quiet, and then it sounded like a locomotive coming, and my husband screamed, "Carol, go to the basement," and we leapt down the steps, and when our feet hit the floor in the basement, we heard trees falling, and we literally heard the top of our house being blown away, and just as fast as it came, that's how quickly it went.
Oh, it's very, very scary, and I'm still shaking, and I'm worried about my pads. I can't find my one pad, and it's so hard to see your home almost destroyed, and but we're alive, so that's all that counts.
So very personal stories here in Sims Township to tell this morning, and of course there will be more throughout the day, so we'll be here live as the day progresses to report back to you about the damage assessment here and how people are doing.
Please don't come to the area unless it's absolutely necessary. You're not helping us, you're hurting us. Where there's going to be a strong police presence in that area for the next several days. At some point, the building inspectors will be probably knocking down some of the structures that are currently there. I think from the news releases you've seen already that you can tell that there's just a lot of devastation up there. We'll be back in touch with you as we get more information, but in a nutshell, folks, that's what we've got.
Chief, USAR search is underway there now.
That's correct. I think they're almost finishing up. USAR is the Urban Search and Rescue. They've been going door to door, marking the houses that have been searched, looking for folks that are unaccounted for. Our primary concern right now is people, and particularly those people that haven't been accounted for. And I hope later today to have a number of how we look with folks that we can't find yet.
The deadly twister of 99 hits parts of the Tri-State, and boy did it hit hard. This is just some of the devastation in a subdivision in Harpers Point off of North 275 and west of Montgomery Road.
The winds were so strong they overturned a couple of semi-trucks and cars on I-71. At least one person on the highway was killed.
And in all of this destruction, there are some amazing stories of people who survived when their homes were literally blown apart from around them. Good afternoon. If you've been tuned in to Channel 9 at all this morning, you know that a tornado ripped through the Tri-State very early this morning.
In its path, the storm killed at least 4 people, homes destroyed, trees and gas pumps uprooted, and cars overturned. The Hamilton County coroner confirms 2 people were killed in a dwelling and 2 others died in 2 separate auto accidents. We want to update you now on those killed and injured in the storm. 12 to 15 patients are being treated at the Jewish Hospital in Kenwood. 5 of those are seriously injured.
And Bethesda North Hospital has seen some 16 patients come into their emergency room. Most have been released. Our Lynn Giroux is live now in Montgomery with a look at the damage to dozens of homes in that area. Lynn?
Well, Randy, it was just before 5 this morning when the warning sirens went off, and people here tell me they had virtually no time to get to safety. Now, the twister ripped through so fast and with such force. Take a look behind me. You can see that what people awoke to were their roofs torn off from above their heads and an entire neighborhood destroyed. Now, as we take a look at some pictures from this morning, just a line of destruction that traveled down Deerfield Road along Shadow Hill Way, and the worst damage on Cornell Road. Some 24 homes are leveled, just demolished. We are told there are 2 fatalities in those houses, those names not yet being released. Now, the stories here are just unbelievable. I spoke with a family walking down the street with their suitcases and plastic bags in their hands, all they could pack from their house. They were on their way to find a hotel room. There was a teenage boy wandering the streets looking for his parents, who apparently have been taken to Jewish Kenwood. The good news is that most people did make it out of their homes, that they survived this. And as you look at the damage to these houses, it is just a miracle that they are alive today. They do tell me they feel very, very lucky to be alive. They are now sorting through the rubble, trying to salvage what they can. And again, just happy that they are still here. They're all still in shock out here in Montgomery. Reporting live, I'm Lynn Giroux. Now back to you.
And with Clyde Gray, who has been out looking through the damage throughout the morning. Clyde, you're in Montgomery near Sycamore High School?
Yes, I am on Cornell Road, which is where there was a tremendous amount of damage and devastation here. You have to see it to believe it, and we don't want to encourage people to come do that, but I can tell you that in all the years that I've been covering tornadoes, I have never seen one to do quite this much damage. We've been led to understand the Urban Search and Rescue Team has been through at least twice, just through this immediate subdivision behind us. And as they've been through, they've discovered that there were about 68 homes that were damaged in just this immediate small area. Of that 68, we were told that over half of those homes were torn open, and that about a third of those homes were just flat demolished. As I walked through, I saw one. There was nothing left but the fireplace in that particular home. This was a storm, of course, that kind of skipped around this community and this neighborhood. But given that level of damage, Bill Price is going to show us some survivors who are counting their blessings.
Remarkably, for so much utter destruction in the Montgomery Blue Ash area, few lives were lost and injuries were few.
First time in my 25 years of police work that I've seen something like this. Hope I never see it again.
Across from Sycamore High School, the Cole family surveyed what was once their neighborhood and their home. Jill Cole remembers being awakened by a warning siren at 5 a.m. and then scrambling to a basement with her husband, 3 younger sons, and their dog. They all held on for dear life.
And he just came down the steps, and we heard the train engine. We heard the big roar, and headed for the shop inside, where in the inside of the basement that we thought would be safe. And we held on to the table, and the house kind of crashed around us. We heard water coming into the basement because the roof is gone, and the garage collapsed in on both of the cars, and everything's pretty much gone.
Jill's family survived. Meanwhile, Cincinnati policeman Kevin Brown was on patrol downtown doing third shift when the twister struck his neighborhood and leveled his house, a house his wife and son were sleeping in. Brown rushed back to his neighborhood. His wife and son survived the twister unharmed. His house, like most other in the neighborhood, is a total loss.
Be grateful my wife and son are alive.
What did you say to them? What did you do when you first saw them?
Just hugged and cried.
Others agreed. With the way the storm struck in the dead of night with little prior warning, many residents here feel fortunate.
It's going to be a mess. But I heard that there are some people that were badly hurt, and we're lucky a house can be rebuilt.
All morning we have been showing you dramatic pictures from Chopper 9.
Chopper 9 pilot Dale Williams joins us now with a live aerial tour of the damage. Dale?
Right. We're going to take you on, like you said, a tour of where this touched down originally. This is the corner of Pfeiffer Road and Kenwood Road. This is where the tornado originally touched down. You can see the wire repairs underway right now. Now, at this point, the homes weren't too badly destroyed. However, the trees, the taller trees, are severed about roof height. Most of the homes, a lot of wires pulled down. And as we fly on up here, we're going to actually fly you across 71, across the industrial park of Blue Ash, and then across 71, and then on up towards Harper's Point, where this thing terminated. But as you can see, this is the industrial area, Blue Ash. You can see a lot of the warehouses totally destroyed. Some of them just lost the ends. Some of them just mangled like rubber bands. And as you see 71 up there on the top of your screen, this is where the semi-truck was overturned this morning that you've seen video of. Okay, coming across 71 here is getting into the Sycamore area. This is where some of the major damage and devastation was done. You can see the woods are completely destroyed right here. The trees were green yesterday afternoon, and you can see all the leaves have been stripped, all the branches have been stripped, and the trees have been swirled all the way through this track. And then just beyond that is where some of the real major household damage starts. This is just next to Sycamore High School. The few homes that are still standing are probably not going to be able to be rebuilt or not be able to be repaired. They will have to be rebuilt. You can see debris just laying all over. And then the next step is the tornado took across 275 as Rich pans up. You can still see him working with one of the semi-trucks that was rolled into the ditch. And we also believe this is the area where another vehicle was rolled over that did claim one life in the tornado. And then across the street from 275 here, we start into some of the upper scaled homes, $500,000 homes totally leveled. Rich is giving you a real good picture here of the neighborhood, how it just kind of selected its targets. It wasn't like a strong wind where it destroyed everything in the whole neighborhood. It was more like a physical thing that went through and just whatever it touched, it destroyed, because there's homes that's got cars sitting in the driveways. The cars are still there. However, the garage and the homes are gone. So whatever it touched, it totally destroyed. And then we're getting up into the Harper Point area where it destroyed, it did some severe damage to one of the plazas here, a few apartments, a church, and then it seems like it just kind of lifted up and went on its way. We understand it did touch down a little further north up towards Landon and that area and do some damage. We're going to go up and take a look at that in a few minutes.
Dale, that's a terrific perspective you just gave us from the Chopper 9 there. We're able to see exactly the path and the scope of the devastation that this tornado just caused. Just amazing, shocking pictures.
Right, Randy, that it is.
I also noticed that there are, in some cases, you can't get by those utility crews as they repair the utility poles. So it's good that people just keep staying out of that area let the disaster services in there and let them do their job.
Right, that's exactly right. And I mean, not just the electrical, but I mean, they've also got to be concerned about the debris, nails, kids walking on boards with nails in them, shingles. I mean, there's so much debris. It's very dangerous in this area. You're better off just staying far away from it.
This has been one of the most serious disasters that we have experienced in Ohio. The force of the tornado is something we have not experienced for many, many years. The extent of the damage is also something we have not experienced for many, many years. And our hearts go out to all those whose lives have been affected so deeply by this tragedy.
The story right now, though, is that people are starting to come back to this community. Those who lived here are starting to come back, starting to gather what belongings they can, starting to try to protect their houses as best they can, and in some instances standing there just shocked to see what has happened to the home and the community that they knew so well. Everything was normal just hours ago, and now everything is just dramatically different. As you walk along here, the other thing that I find interesting is just the bits and pieces of people's lives that you see. A Mariah Carey CD up the street there, some golf clubs, some sneakers. Family assembled all of their sneakers in one little spot so that they could come back later and reclaim them. There's this rather interesting piece of history. This drawer from a chest came out of the house behind me here. It's from the Kraler Company, which was shut down after it was wiped out in the Xenia tornado. Just another one of those little bits and pieces of irony that you find as you wander through this community. But there are a lot of people here who are sad as well because two of the neighbors in this community were killed. One other person was killed out on I-275 and another on farther on I-71. So this community is in shock, it's in grief to some degree, and it is also now working hard to rebuild itself and get itself back together. That's the way things stand here along Cornell Road in Montgomery. We've had a number of crews out throughout this area all day covering as many aspects of this storm and the damage as we possibly could. One of the reporters who was out and has been here since pretty much this morning is our Lynn Giroux. She's here now live with some of what she saw today. Lynn?
That's right, Clyde. Here on Cornell Road, you talked about the destruction. House after house here is destroyed. In fact, just a few houses down from where we are is where those two fatalities occurred. We were told they were an older couple, a couple in their 60s here on Cornell Road. And despite this devastation, though, we are seeing some inspiring stories as well as some incredible stories of survival. Jim Schrichty stands in what's left of his bathroom in disbelief after his home was literally torn down around him.
The wind just woke me up, and I left the bedroom and got down the hall, and by the time I got down the hall to get my son, the roof was gone and the drywall was falling in.
The bed Schrichty was sleeping on is now buried under piles of rubble. A couple blocks away, Al Roberts tries to salvage what he can. There's not much left, but he says he has a lot to be thankful for after this morning's close call.
We just heard the noise, a whistling wind like in the movie Twister. Just heard a wind, nothing. No damage, nothing, just heard a hard whistling wind. And then the next thing is the roof was already gone and I didn't know it. But we felt rain on us. You look up and you see blue sky or black sky.
Yeah. Team 4, let's go this way up here. We'll spread out.
You saw our urban search and rescue teams go door to door looking for victims. They found two here, an older couple who lived on Cornell Road. Their home was flattened.
That's just a disaster area. I've never seen anything that bad on film ever.
We walked through this devastated neighborhood with Montgomery Police Sergeant Brian Knowles. I asked him whether there was any way a warning could have come sooner.
No, the sirens went off as soon as the storm was detected, and it was on us before there was much of anything going on.
Some residents say when they heard the sirens, the twister was already on top of them. For the owners of this home, warning came from a son-in-law's phone call. You called them just in time.
Well, I hope, because that's their bedroom right there, right back there where that open space is. And I just feel fortunate that they're still here, you know, because the house can be fixed, but lives cannot.
This area is being heavily patrolled tonight, and they mean heavily. Anyone, and they don't care who, comes back into this area after 8 o'clock, which is a few minutes ago, will be arrested. Late today, the Cincinnati police brought in mounted officers. Blue ash streets like Falsington Court and Millington Court will be off limits. So today, residents cleaned out and got out as much as possible. And as we have seen throughout the fabric of this story, help is always close. These young neighbors offering to help the Miser family load what remains of their home into a U-Haul truck.
If that was mine, I don't know what I'd do. And I think a sense of community and helping each other out that's the best answer to this whole problem.
It's tough to believe anyone could walk away from this home with just bruises and scratches, especially someone who can't even walk. But 10-month-old Nicholas Stein is one lucky kid. This is where he was sleeping soundly when the twister hit.
I thought he was dead. I couldn't find him. I couldn't hear him. I didn't know where he was.
That's Nicholas's mom, Becky, sitting with me in the emergency room at Jewish Hospital. She told me the twister tossed the entire Stein family out of their beds. Dad Brad was pushed out into the backyard. 13-year-old Joe ended up in front out here.
When the windows went out of the front of the house, my son went out over the garage and towards the driveway, my oldest son. And if he hadn't went out, he would have been crushed under the roof.
Becky was pinned under some debris in the bedroom, but Nicholas was nowhere to be found, and everyone feared the worst. Look at their home and look at the entire block they lived on. Destruction everywhere, and a 10-month-old could have been tossed anywhere.
He was about 2 rooms from his bedroom, under some debris with a door on top of him. The door saved his life. He would have been crushed. He was sitting playing with some toys.
That's right, in the middle of all of this, Nicholas was having fun. When the neighbors climbed the ladder to pull him out, they found Nicholas's only injuries were a few cuts and some bruises. His mother's nightmare finally had come to an end.
I am just so grateful that we're all alive. We all managed to make it out. I mean, I know how much worse it could have been. And it's all stuff, you know, our house we can rebuild, the stuff we can buy. We can't replace our family.
So the neighbors who supplied help also supplied diapers and a bottle, the paramedics supplying the teddy bear. When we left Nicholas, he was doing what he was doing after the twister had moved on, playing and having fun.
This is probably the 4th time I've been back to the house, and every time I come back I just cry. I can't believe we're all alive.
Noreen Shahada is referring to her family's experience during the tornado. She and her 2 daughters, 5-year-old Alexandra and 3-year-old Christina, used to live on what's left of the 2nd floor of this house in the Millview subdivision of Sycamore Township. When the tornado swept through this neighborhood, Noreen says her house shook. She says there was not enough time to get her kids downstairs.
And at that point, the whole wall that's laying right here came down. And then I remember getting swept up. And then we woke up in the driveway. I could see both of my kids. I couldn't believe we were all still together.
Surprisingly, both the children were able to walk away from this with just a few scratches.
My older daughter told me that she actually told her dad that that an angel picked her up and carried her to the ground.
Relatives found this pendant of an angel next to the spot where the girls landed.
I think that's absolutely true, without question. If you're not a believer, look over there.
Yeah.
It's really unbelievable that they can be alive.
I think that's, you know, proof right there that somebody brought us safely just to be alive at this point.
What the pictures show is a tragedy. Nature's fury flattening homes, taking some lives, changing others forever. But what the pictures don't show is that a hometown is not just homes and businesses, it is a spirit that moves and breathes with a force stronger than the fiercest storm. A storm took Jill and Stephen Cole's home. Friday morning, Jill and her sons Brandon, Trevor, and Adam collected themselves at a Red Cross shelter. The boys drew pictures of what nature had taken away. But shortly after arriving, the spirit that defines a real community descended upon Jill Cole. and started giving back.
And someone grabbed me and said, I know you don't know me, but I have a home that you can use till the end of April. We're staying in a home that's someone that we don't even know. We don't even know the people, and we're staying in their home. It's just amazing.
Jill's story is not unique. All along the area near Cornell Road, those who lost their homes are finding out just how good their neighbors are. A virtual army of volunteers has descended in the storm's wake. At the Cole house, Jill doesn't know most of the guys helping her family load up this truck. Her son Sean says the helpful strangers have been here since Friday.
And there was a gentleman that showed up with his son, and his wife came later in the day, and everybody in my family thought that someone else in the family knew him, and we didn't find out until the end of the day that none of us knew him.
And for Jill Cole, this is a timely reminder.
I know the last little while, I just had lost a lot of faith in people, I think. I don't know why, I just had withdrawn from some of my friendships and the things that we had done, backed away from our church involvement a little bit, and I just lost faith in a lot of things.
The dose of neighborliness is not lost on the Coles. The night of the storm, Jill and Stephen had argued about moving to a new home. She wanted to leave, he wanted to stay. Now they are committed to staying put, because despite the pile of rubble that's left of their house, this place now feels like home.
But it's going to feel like home, I think, because all of these neighbors, you know, we all waved at each other and said hi, and you know, you could borrow sugar, but we didn't, some of us didn't even know each other's last names. And it's going to be different in the future. You know, the support and I think the way people have pulled together is amazing. As far as I know, everybody is staying and rebuilding. And you know, when you look out here at this, it's kind of hard to imagine that anyone would even consider that. But it's what's going on inside people that's driving that. And I'm the one that wanted to move for a lot of different reasons. Not because I didn't like our neighborhood, but felt, again, just that general sense, time to make a change, not quite content, not happy, just things are unsettled. And not that I think this was done to teach me a lesson, but this is the lesson I'm taking from it.
There are countless lessons to be learned from an event like this, but what every neighbor in every town can learn from the men, women, and children of Montgomery, Blue Ash, and the surrounding townships is the lesson Jill Cole is taking to heart. There is no place like home, especially when it's surrounded by good neighbors who make it a real hometown. Five days after the twister of '99 killed his mother and father, Brian Cook went through the stuff salvaged from their home. Some stuff that meant a lot, but still, just stuff.
But what that stuff does is it invokes memories. It isn't the memories, you know? Like I was holding that football that my parents got me when I was, 16. It's a real NFL football. But the important thing is not that little piece of leather, but rather the memory of my parents getting that for me.
Ryan Cook says his faith in God has kept him strong in the storm's aftermath, and it's faith of all different brands and backgrounds that has lifted many from the rubble. The churches of this battered community were battered themselves, but they are still the backbone of the relief effort. Reverend Tom Lipsey is the pastor of Montgomery Community Baptist Church. His church was hammered by the tornado, but once again, bricks and mortar are just stuff.
Because the physical world has failed us. That's a good lesson, that you can't build your life and in these physical, tangible things that can be snuffed out so quickly. And there's got to be a bigger hope.
The churches of Montgomery, Blue Ash, and the surrounding townships are providing that bigger hope. St. Barnabas Church organized and bussed in the volunteers, more than 1,000 on Monday alone. Their parked cars lined a half mile or so of Montgomery Road. But the real hope shines through the volunteers. Montgomery Assembly of God has a small army near Sycamore High School delivering food, water, and kind words. Children's pastor Mike Smitty sees the brightest hope of all in the average age of the volunteers.
There has been so many young people, there's been teenagers, there's been kids that have been out here since day one, volunteering of their time and doing physical work, not just standing around, but being a part of touching people's lives.
What the storm brought with it to the churches in this area is a sense of community, a reminder that while the Spirit may move each of us along different paths, the high purpose of worship is common to all faiths. Rabbi Arthur Flicker is the rabbi of Ohav Shalom Synagogue.
Friday afternoon, the people at the Mormon Church, which is 3 doors down from us, offered their facility to us if we needed it for our Sabbath services on Saturday. And then upon hearing about the destruction at the Montgomery Community Baptist Church, we contacted them and have offered them our facility, and they'll be having their Sunday services here for the next few weeks.
This Sunday, Ohav Shalom Synagogue will host a Baptist congregation hearing a New Testament sermon on stuff.
I'm going to preach on the promise of life and where life really and truly comes from.
That is a lesson so easily lost in the good times and painfully taught in the dark ones. And despite the darkness that has taken 4 lives and lots of stuff, the spirit of this community has provided light to even the hardest hit. Ryan Cook is thankful for that and says it will keep him forever rooted in his hometown.
75-75 Cornell will not be home, because 75-75 Cornell is a piece of grass and rubble right now. But Cincinnati is more than just that address. This is home.